This is Earl Nightingale, speaking to you across the decades, from the crackling radio waves of the 1950s to the glowing screen in your hands today. Before I share the profound truth about how just 15 minutes can reshape the next 10 years of your life, I ask you to pause and take a small but powerful step. If these words stir even a whisper of hope in your soul, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and in the comments share one dream you've buried, one vision you've let fade, one goal you've told yourself is out of reach. Why? Because this moment could be the spark that ignites your future, and I want you to walk this path with me to discover how a fleeting pause can rewrite your destiny. I've studied thousands of lives through heartfelt letters, quiet conversations, and the silent lessons of observation. Some seem doomed, trapped by circumstance or their own despair. Others shone with promise, only to lose their way in the chaos of life. But a rare few, those who dared to stop and listen to their own hearts, changed everything in just 15 minutes. Not through miracles, not through wealth or luck, but through a single decision, born in the stillness of their own mind, that set their life on a new course for a decade and beyond. These 15 minutes aren't a trick. They're a gateway, a moment of truth that can alter your path forever. Stay with me, my friend, and I'll show you how to claim them, how to turn a whisper of possibility into a life transformed. I was born in 1921 in Long Beach, California, in the fading echo of the Great War, a time when the world was still stitching its wounds. By the 1930s, the Great Depression had descended like a relentless storm, sweeping away livelihoods and leaving families like mine clinging to survival in a tent city. The air was thick with dust, and despair was a constant companion. My mother stitched dresses by the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, her fingers worn, but her spirit unbroken. My father left when I was a boy, and I remember standing at a cracked window, watching men gather at factory gates, their shoulders slumped, their faces heavy with the weight of dreams deferred. I saw brilliant minds, scholars, inventors, poets, reduced to laborers, and I wondered, what makes one life soar while another sinks? That question followed me into the United States Marines, where I stood on the deck of the USS Arizona during the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, witnessing a world torn apart by fire and fear. In those moments, I saw men paralyzed by panic and others who acted with unshakable resolve, and I began to see that life's turning points weren't shaped by wealth or time, but by decisions made in the crucible of a single moment. After the war, in the 1940s, I found my calling behind a microphone in Chicago, broadcasting to a nation hungry for hope. As a radio host, I heard stories of triumph and tragedy, tales of shopkeepers who built empires from carts, mothers who raised leaders with nothing but love, dreamers who turned fleeting ideas into legacies. And through it all, one truth emerged. The greatest changes in life didn't come from years of struggle, but from quiet moments of clarity, when someone stopped, looked within, and chose a new path. In 1956, I poured this wisdom into a record called The Strangest Secret, a message that sold over 1 million copies and touched lives across the globe. But the heart of that message wasn't just a secret. It was a practice, a way to harness a fleeting moment to set a course for years to come. I learned that 15 minutes of honest reflection could outweigh a lifetime of aimless effort, that a single pause could redirect a destiny. That's the truth I'm sharing with you now, a truth that can change the next 10 years of your life, starting today. Here's the truth that can set you free. 15 minutes of intentional silence can change your life. Not through grand gestures or instant results, but through the quiet power of a decision. Stop. Silence the noise, the chatter of the world, the hum of worries, the rush of routine. Find a quiet place, a pen, a piece of paper, And ask yourself one question. What kind of person do I want to be 10 years from now? And what can I do today to stay true to that vision? Picture it vividly. Your character, your purpose, the life you want to lead. Write it down, clear and bold, as if it's already real. Then choose one small step you can take today to honor that vision. A step toward growth, toward meaning, toward the person you're meant to be. This practice is simple, but it's not easy. It's terrifying because it forces you to face your truth, not the world's demands, not your past mistakes, but the quiet voice within. It reveals where you're drifting, where you're betraying your own potential. But if you answer honestly, those 15 minutes become a compass, guiding your thoughts, your actions, your life toward a future you choose, not one you stumble into. You'll never live on autopilot again, because you'll know where you're going and why. Why does this work? Because your mind is a navigator, steering you toward what you focus on most clearly. When you hold a vivid vision, it becomes your North Star. When you act on it, even in small ways, each step builds a path to a decade you're proud of. 15 minutes isn't just time. It's the seed of a life transformed, the moment you become the architect of your own destiny. Let me take you back to the America of the 1940s to 1980s, a world of grit, hope, and quiet triumphs, where ordinary people used 15 minutes to redirect their lives. In 1959, I met a factory worker in Detroit, a man in his late 40s who felt life had passed him by. He tuned into my radio broadcast one evening, and instead of drowning out his thoughts with the hum of a television, he sat with a pencil and paper. In 15 minutes, he wrote his vision to own a small business that served his community. That night, he became a man with a purpose. He began saving, learning, taking small steps. By 1963, he launched a delivery service, and by 1969, he employed dozens, feeding families across the city. His decade was reborn in a single pause. In 1971, a single mother from Texas sent me a letter, her words trembling with both fear and resolve. Raising 3 children alone, she felt trapped in a cycle of survival. But she listened to my records every morning, and one day at 5 a.m., she sat with a notebook. In 15 minutes, she envisioned herself as a teacher, inspiring young minds. She wrote it down, clear and unshakable. That day, she enrolled in night classes, studying between shifts. By 1981, she was a university lecturer, shaping the next generation. Her 15 minutes didn't erase her struggles. It gave them meaning. In 1963, a clerk in Chicago, stuck in a dead-end job, heard my voice on the radio. He'd always wanted to write stories, but feared failure. One quiet evening, he took 15 minutes to sit in silence, picturing his books on shelves, his words in readers' hands. He wrote his goal, to publish a novel. By 1965, he was submitting short stories, and by 1975, his first novel was in bookstores, touching lives. His pause wasn't fame. It was focus, a moment that set his decade in motion. In 1954, a seamstress in Atlanta, nearing 50, caught my broadcast. She dreamed of opening a school for girls in her community, but her family called it foolish. One night, she sat in the stillness, asking what she wanted to become. In 15 minutes, she saw herself as an educator, empowering others. By 1958, she'd started a tutoring program, and by 1966, it had grown into a community school, educating hundreds. Her vision, born in silence, became her legacy. In 1968, a mechanic in Cleveland, weary of his trade, listened to my show. He took 15 minutes one evening to reflect, envisioning a life as a community organizer, uniting his neighborhood. He wrote his goal, to build a place for people to come together. By 1970, he was leading local projects, and by 1978, His efforts had created a community center that served thousands. His pause was a spark that lit a decade of impact. In 1976, a teacher in rural Oregon, feeling unfulfilled, heard my words. One morning, she sat for 15 minutes, picturing herself as a mentor for struggling youth. She wrote her vision, to guide those who felt lost. By 1978, she was volunteering with at-risk teens, and by 1986, she ran a youth program that transformed lives across her county. Her silence was her strength, her 15 minutes her guide. In 1980, a carpenter in St. Louis, inspired by my broadcast, sat with his thoughts one evening. He saw himself building homes for those who had none. In 15 minutes, he committed to volunteering his skills. By 1983, he'd helped construct shelters for dozens of families, and by 1990, his work had housed hundreds. His moment wasn't wealth. It was purpose, born in a pause. In 1965, a waitress in Memphis, scraping by, heard my radio program. She dreamed of owning a bakery, but doubted herself. One dawn, she took 15 minutes to sit in silence, picturing her shop, her hands kneading dough, her community gathering. She wrote her goal, to bring joy through food. By 1967, she was saving tips and testing recipes, and by 1975, her bakery was a local cornerstone, employing others. Her 15 minutes were her foundation. In 1973, a janitor in Philadelphia, mocked for his ambitions, listened to my words. One night, he sat for 15 minutes, envisioning himself as a leader, teaching others to rise. He wrote his goal, to mentor youth. By 1975, he was volunteering at a community center, and by 1983, he ran programs that empower hundreds. His pause was his power. And in 1956, when I sat to record The Strangest Secret, I took 15 minutes to ask myself, what do I want to share with the world? I picture a message that would awaken millions to live with intention, to choose their path with clarity. That vision guided me as I spoke, and the record reached countless lives, sparking change across the globe. My 15 minutes didn't just change my decade, they changed the world's. Here's the painful truth. Most people never claim their 15 minutes. They drift through life on autopilot, swept along by the world's relentless current. Noise, distractions, demands that drown out their own voice. They fill their days with busyness, their minds with chatter, their years with regrets. They don't stop to ask who they want to be, because it's easier to keep running, to follow the crowd's pace, to let life happen. But a life without direction is a life half-lived, a decade lost to habit, a dream buried under the weight of someday. I've seen men with fortunes and women with talent wake up 10 years later, wondering where their time went. Not because they lacked ability, but because they never paused to choose. The world will tempt you to rush, scroll through endless feeds, chase fleeting pleasures, fill your hours with tasks that mean nothing. But destiny isn't built in motion, it's born in stillness. Without that pause, you risk becoming a stranger to yourself, your potential locked away, your decade a blur. The question isn't whether you have time, it's whether you'll claim it to decide who you are. The tragedy isn't that life is short, it's that so many live it without meaning. Every day you don't pause, you give your future a chance. Every moment you don't reflect, you let the world write your story. But you have the power to stop, to listen, to choose. 15 minutes can break the cycle, set your compass, and light your path. Will you claim them, or let them slip away? I'm not here to inspire you with fleeting words. I'm here to awaken you to a truth. Your next 10 years begin now, in the silence of a single moment. You don't need to change the world today. You don't need wealth, talent, or time. You need only the courage to pause, to ask who you want to be, and to take one step toward that vision. 15 minutes can't rewrite your past, but they can redirect your future. They're not a cure. They're a compass, guiding you to a life of intention, not accident. This is your challenge. For the next 30 days, give yourself 15 minutes each morning. Find a quiet place. No noise, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. Take a pen, a piece of paper, and ask, what kind of person do I want to be 10 years from now? Picture it vividly. Your values, your impact, the life you want to live. Write it down, clear and specific, as if it's already yours. Then ask, what's one step I can take today to honor that vision? Act on it, no matter how small. Read a page, write a plan, help someone, start something new. Don't rush. Don't doubt. Just pause, reflect, and move. Those 15 minutes will become your North Star, guiding you toward a decade you're proud to claim. You're not here to drift through life. You're here to shape it, to grow, to become the person you're meant to be. The world will try to drown your voice, but you can choose silence. Your vision isn't a fantasy, it's your truth. Your steps aren't just tasks, they're your legacy. Start now, in the quiet of your own heart, and let 15 minutes light the way. Tomorrow, when you wake, the world will rush at you, blaring news, buzzing phones, tasks that pull you from your path. But you'll carry a secret. 15 minutes can change everything. You'll face a choice. Join the chaos, letting days blur into years, or pause, asking who you'll become. Most will choose the first path, their lives a series of accidents, their dreams lost to distraction. But you can choose the second path, the path of intention, where every pause is a seed, every vision a map, every step a triumph. Your life is a garden, and every 15 minutes is a chance to plant. The world wants you to scatter seeds in haste, chasing weeds that wither. But you can plant with care, with purpose, with love. 10 years from now, when someone asks, how did you build this life? You'll remember the quiet moments, the mornings you sat, the visions you held, the steps you took. You'll smile, knowing it began with 15 minutes, a pause that became a decade, a decision that became a destiny. This is your moment to stop running and start becoming. You're not a passenger in your life. You're the architect. Your 15 minutes aren't just time. They're your power. Your vision isn't just a thought. It's your compass. Your life isn't just a series of days. It's a story you're crafting, one intentional choice at a time. Pause now, choose now, act now, and watch your decade bloom. This is Earl Nightingale, signing off, but not before I leave you with a mission that could change everything. If these words about the power of 15 minutes have awakened something in you, a spark of clarity, a glimpse of your own path, don't let it fade. Share this video with one person who's ready to pause, to listen, to choose their future. Hit the like button to spread this truth to others searching for it. Subscribe so we can walk this path together, day by day, as you build a life of purpose. And in the comments below, tell me, what's the vision you'll hold in your 15 minutes tomorrow? And what's the first step you'll take to make it real? Your words could light a fire for someone else, maybe even for yourself. But don't stop there. Tonight, before you sleep, take a moment, just 5 seconds, to close your eyes and picture the person you want to be. Let that image linger. Then tomorrow, claim your 15 minutes. You're not just starting a day, you're starting a decade. This is your moment, my friend. Pause it, shape it, become it.